because it's going to take some GOP unity to defeat Debbie Wasserman Schultz this November. United together, we can do it. United together, nothing can stop us. It's a great day and a great year to be a Republican, and I'm confident that our candidates are going to win.
I'd like to thank Richard for being the moderator of tonight's event. I would also like to acknowledge each and every one of you for coming out here today and taking an interest in this primary. These elections this November are very important to all of us, and I know you have busy schedules and lives, so thank you for coming out here tonight. And last but not least, I would like to thank my family for their support. I am joined tonight by my mother and father, my wonderful husband Glenn, 2 of my 3 children, Ashley and Ryan, my beautiful grandchildren, Kaylee and Dylan, and my son-in-law, Kurt. Thank you all so much, and it's because of your wonderful support, both in business and in my personal life, that I have been able to take this journey, a journey to defeat one of the most radical liberals we have representing us in Washington right now. As most of you know, I am a businesswoman. My family and I have been successful restaurant owners for over 36 years. One of the toughest businesses you'll ever take part in. The hours are long, you never have weekends and holidays, but the reward of owning your own business is wonderful. And we have seen tough times in those 36 years, but no matter what, our community has been there for us, and now it is time for me to be there for them. My granddaughter is crying. Love you, Kaylee. As many of you know, I have not aspired to be in politics, but what is happening to our country is so important to all of us that it takes good Americans willing to stand up and fight for this great country. As I watch Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and the Obama trio, they are taking our country in a direction riddled with unsustainable debt, a weaker national security, and an unprecedented reach of government control and power. I am inspired to run for this position. I will no longer be represented by somebody like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I have lived in this community for 42 years, and as I was driving here tonight, I passed my high school, South Broward. This community is more than my home. These people that live here are my family, and we deserve fair and true representation. Our campaign has made incredible strides. We have amazing endorsements from Brian Riley, a former candidate, as well as the city commissioner here in Hollywood, Patty Asef. I also have the full endorsement of the Florida Rights to Life, and I am also endorsed by the Christian Coalition Voters Guide. We have been on Russ Morley, Joyce Kaufman, and Fox News with Stuart Varney. Our campaign is gaining great ground, and I am looking for your support. If you vote for me on August 24th, I will give you 110%, and I will fight to beat Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Thank you.
Robert Lowry, 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for showing up tonight and welcome. Welcome to my backyard. This is a special building for me because this is actually where I vote. For the past 5 elections, I walked down that hall and stood in line with almost every Democrat that lives in Broward County. And although I seemed outnumbered, we are united because we share a common history, a rich history as Americans. And we also are unified as Americans in a common theme of freedom and liberty. And that's why we're here tonight. Because you and I share that concern that this country is at a crossroads never seen before. We're here tonight not just to hear 3 candidates, but also because we're fearful of what we are going to do as a generation. Because we know that previous generations have always done the right thing. They fought our wars. They had economic strife. They had economic good times. But they always put America first. And I question whether our Congress and the current administration is doing that today. And are we going to be the first generation to leave our children a worse country than the ones that we inherited? That's why we're here today, and that's why I'm running. 15 months ago, I stood in this very same room and had my first speech to the Southeast Broward Republican Party when I announced my candidacy. A month before that, it was Marco Rubio that was in this room announcing his candidacy. A month before that, Obama had his inauguration. Between the three events, I had no choice. You had no choice to be here either, did you? You're just as concerned as I am, as Don is and Karen is. So I welcome you to my backyard, our backyard. I also welcome my fellow candidates, Don and Karen, because I know they're also patriots. Anyone that puts a hat in a ring to become a candidate deserves a little admiration, whether a foe, an enemy, or a co-patriot in unity, which I hope we all are. After the last debate, the last Republican debate, it was in the press and alluded to, the critique on my verbiage and my candor was that I was flippant. I was also reprimanded for being too professorial or even educational. Make no mistake, do not misrepresent my verbiage or my candor as a lack of seriousness of what's facing this great nation. What we have facing us is a critical mass of progressivism. We now have to recapture what made this nation great. We now have to reach in and do the difficult decisions. Now, not typically like a politician that will tell you what you need to hear for a vote, but rather as a statesman that will do what's appropriate for this great nation. I'm coming to you tonight with solutions. Listen to them. Because you are here to make a decision as to best who can represent our district, our nation. Because what legislation does in Washington, D.C. doesn't just necessarily a small business owner or you or me. It affects the entire world. Because we are the world leader. And when America is weak, the world is in danger. Thank you.
And now Donna Milo, 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. I had to think a lot before I decided to run. Not because I didn't think that it would be patriotic or something. I had to think about it because I wondered, what would I be able to do if I ran in this race? How could I impact or influence our community? How could I save my nation? And I thought about it for a long time. And having been born in a country, Cuba, I was born in Cuba. My family left Cuba when I was 3 years old because we lost a country to socialism. And I really had to look at what was happening in this country and think about it, analyze what was going on, and I finally had to say, you know what, I have to run because I can't bear the thought of my children growing up in a country without the freedoms, without the opportunities that I had in this country when we came here looking for freedom from persecution, looking for freedom of religion, looking for the things that we needed to be free Americans. And what I've seen happening in our country, and you're going to hear a lot of us, we're going to be speaking about the same thing, strong constitutional values. We're all conservatives. We're all very concerned about what's happening in our country. And we're going to have to make decisions between now and Election Day as to which one of us would have the best opportunity and the best understanding of how to reach our nation and fix what is inherently wrong. Our Constitution, we're lucky, we're blessed with a Constitution that grants us our rights from God. But also we have to think what happens, what is in that document that makes us exceptional besides being endowed by our Creator those inalienable rights. It is that our government owns nothing. It's not supposed to own or control wealth or the economy. Every country in the planet that is not free has the government controlling its economy, and it controls the wealth. And what we've been doing for the last few years is we're allowed to say we're free because that hasn't been taken from the Constitution, but the government is taking over our banking sector, just happened recently, our energy sector through regulation, our healthcare sector through regulation, our insurance sector through regulation, through stimuluses, through bailouts. They control the flow of money and they control the economy. And if they control our economy, they control us. And I feel that I am the candidate that best understands what it is to lose our freedom, to lose our economy, and I will represent this community. Thank you for having me tonight.
And now for the questions. The first topic will be foreign policy and the war on terror, box number 1. Since Ms. Harrington went first on the intro, the first question goes to Mr. Lowry.